Aaron Fox as the Warriors will try to even up their road record on a 6-game road trip. But we did see the return of Steph Curry Friday night against the Pels after missing 2 games due to a pelvic contusion. And thankfully, it was no structural damage with that. And Steph Curry moved around well, just didn't have his efficiency. Fezzi fell 7 of 21 from the floor, 5 of 16, 23 points. Did come up with 3 steals and 6 assists. So the efficiency should come back, but came out clean, played 33 minutes and 54 seconds.
Well, Steph Curry's 40% shooting is exactly what the Warriors needed for the offense to keep working, Bonte. When he comes into the game, his efficiency numbers don't really matter because the defenses are selling out. You have 2, 3 guys at times going out at Steph, and he's able to make shots and make shots available for guys like Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody. All these guys can get shots and are able to get wide open layups at the rim because the defense is coinciding on Steph or converging on Steph the whole game. I was watching the Florida game last night, the Elite Eight, and they were down 10 with 7 minutes left in the game. And the Warriors fans who were present said, well, it's just down 10, right? It's just 3 3-point shots. This is what Steph Curry does to everybody. He just makes people think in numbers of threes that you can just make threes like this at the end of the game. Well, that's what the Warriors believe right now. With Steph being back in the lineup, it's only a matter of time for the Warriors to get their chemistry together for them to make a playoff push.
Yeah, I think, Bonte, what you said is really key. He played almost 34 minutes, looked really good moving around, found 16 3-point shots. So I'm not concerned about the efficiency numbers at all. To start the game, Willie Green really sold out defensively, trying to take Steph out of the game offensively. But I thought he looked really good. And I said, to find 16 3-point shots in the course of a game, you got to be moving pretty well.
No doubt about the Warriors shooting overall. We'll get to that a little bit later. 22 of 93 from the 3-point line over their last 2 nights. So somebody's got to start making some shots, and hopefully it is Steph Curry. But let's check out Jonathan Kuminga here, because Jonathan Kuminga has been a polarizing figure around these parts with the fan base, with fans at Chase Center, radio shows, you name it. When you look at his numbers in December, he was probably playing his best basketball of his young NBA career. Now, he missed 31 games due to the right ankle injury, so he's coming back slowly. It's a different team with Jimmy Butler now on the roster. No Andrew Wiggins, who's down in South Beach, Miami. And you see the numbers in limited minutes here. But here's what Stephen Curry and Steve Kerr had to say about JK Friday night. Take a listen.
Jonathan was good. You know, he gives us the attack to the rim. He got to the foul line, 8 times. Rebounded well. So I thought he had a good night. The dive to the rim when JK sets that ball screen for Steph puts a lot of pressure on the defense, and that was really key tonight. The 2 of them connected for 3 or 4 of those, and that was helpful.
He's a force when he gets in the paint and get a mismatch or gets downhill. So if I can create some attention, like you said, get him in the pocket, he's really gotten better at seeing the angles in the lane. If he doesn't have anything getting off of it, and it's something we need to utilize, depending on matchups. I can get going off his pick and roll, or I can, get him in the pocket with an advantage and he can take over.
All right, time now for our connection with the great KB, Kareth Burke, the Petaluma's finest, Dalton Johnson, courtesy of Comcast Business. Every connection counts. And you heard from Steve Kerr and Steph Curry right there discussing the importance of Jonathan Kuminga. And you saw the 2-man game in that New Orleans game as he did come off the bench and score 16 points, KB. So we know how important JK is. It's about him relishing in this role and getting the time to really play through the mistakes here. But I know it's only 9 games left. We don't have much time here, right?
Yeah, well, if Steph Curry has positive things to say about Jonathan Kuminga, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, and Jonathan Kuminga has only been back for 8 games. So, yes, he joined a new team. Like, the Jimmy Butler impact transformed what this team looked like. That's going to take some time for him to play with Jimmy. But as long as he's playing well with Steph, okay, that's a good situation.
And he's been playing great with Steph all season long, and I thought last game offensively was the blueprint for what works for Jonathan Kuminga with Steph Curry. Through those ball screen actions, he had 3 finishes at the rim and led to 4 free throws for Jonathan Kuminga as well. There is not another player on the Warriors, as Bonte brought up, that invokes more of a toxic conversation online than Jonathan Kuminga. And I'm here to say, take the good right now, especially if it's with Steph Curry. Yeah, it's not working perfectly with Jimmy Butler. In a small sample size, as we brought up, he has a -18 net rating with Jimmy Butler, but a 117.9 offensive rating with Steph Curry, which is Jonathan Kuminga's best with any other player. So it's finding ways to utilize him efficiently in the easiest way to maximize those differing skill sets right now. So I think using him as a screener is just the perfect way to do so. There's only a little bit of time left, but a team that has their best players be 35, 35, and 37. If you have this athletic marvel who's 22 years old, I'm not going to focus on the negative. I'm going to focus on the positive and go, that is how someone can just walk into 16 points and just be so efficient at the rim with the greatest three-point shooter of all time as well.
Yeah, in his 8 games back, I was looking at other things. Has he been sped up? Has he been making mistakes? He's only averaging 1 turnover and 2 fouls a game, so he's not falling into those sped up kind of traps while also being, say, your leading scorer as a reserve or your leading rebounder as a reserve. So Jonathan Kuminga, in this time back where an injury, the longest injury of his career, really sort of reset things for him, and then he joined a new team essentially with Jimmy. JK's been doing pretty well, guys.
Yeah, I agree. He's shooting his free throws better as well over his last 3 games, 75% there. Mully, I'll start with you. There's been no team in NBA history where their top 3 players at 37, 35, and 35 that has won an NBA championship. Now, this team has been known to make history, but that's going against every team in the history of the game. So the importance of Jonathan Kuminga, I think, is massive for this team.
Yeah, I think it's obvious Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler need a guy like JK to support them. Brandon Pajemski, Mosley, all the younger players need to support and elevate the 3 older stars on this team. And Jonathan, I think the biggest thing, the biggest topic of discussion really is, has he fit in with the 5-man combination that Steve Kerr feels can have an impact on winning, and what 5 players is that going to be to finish games? So Jonathan, overall, I think he's had a tremendous career. He's only 22 years old. He's improved each and every year. As Kerr mentioned, coming back to this team is way different than in the past because of Jimmy Butler. It's a different dynamic with Jimmy's isolation play in the half court. But overall, he's getting 16 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. I think you would like his efficiency numbers a little better than they were this year. 45% from the field, just 32 from 3, 66 from the line. He's shooting better free throws lately. But to me, that's a combination of who he's playing with and how long he's on the floor. We know his stats when he plays over 30 minutes. They're pretty impressive.
No doubt.
All those numbers rise. So finding the right combination, I think, is the factor here, more than Jonathan as an individual.
Well, JK has a world of potential. That last game alone, you saw JK in a bunch of different positions. He came into the game, the starters weren't particularly playing well. Started off the game 14-2, and he was part of the bench mob that really pushed the Warriors. The first play of the game when he came in was him coming down in transition and finding Quentin Post on a back cut. That's him showing the development and chemistry with his teammates. You saw him also come off a ball screen, keep the defender on his hip, and shoot a floater off the glass. Next play, you saw him, he caught the ball, he took the ball on the post, went down and scored it that way. JK can score the basketball. You've seen it in different ways. You saw that in the month of December. He averaged 20 points a game, mid-30s from the three-point line. He can do all these things, but as a young player, you have to look at the potential, but you also have to look at the ways that you can play him in the game. Right now, the Warriors are looking to make a push in the playoffs, and you're going to have to depend on JK defensively, offensively, but also the Warriors are small. You need his athleticism to be able to make those plays against big men on other teams. Think about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Think about the Houston Rockets. These teams are young and athletic, and JK, even in those lineups, is the most athletic guy on the floor.
With GP2's injury, that role may have be even more important now.
I was just going to mention that GP2 will be reevaluated on Thursday with the partially torn ligament in his shooting hand, his left thumb. So point of attack defense, maybe JK can pick up the slack there. But will the Dubs be outside the box 2 weeks from today? We have the latest playoffs.